Good morning, YouTube. My name is Will. Lotus is the little one, and there's Enzo. Today I want to talk to you guys about the craziness that is the Evo pricing. I kind of talked about this a little bit in a previous video regarding low mileage Evos, but I kind of also want to talk a little bit deeper about just the overall scale of the market and how that can kind of throw off the numbers and some of the emotional thought process that's going behind, I think, some of these cars. So let's talk a little bit about the craziness that is the Evo values. First of all, there's not that many Evos for sale, but if you search for Evo 8s and 9s specifically, so we're talking 03 to 06, these are cars that cost anywhere from the high 20s to the low 30s brand new, and they sell anywhere from the low teens to the 30s still. That's a very confusing market when you look at something like an M3 from the same generation that's way cheaper than it was new, obviously. You know, even a good condition M3 from that generation is selling nowhere near what it did when it was new. Meanwhile, if you've got a good low mileage Evo 9, you could probably get what it costs new at this point. Here's the thing though. When you're buying cars like this, you have to be really careful because perceived value and actual value can be two very different things. Case in point, my mom loves Hummels. And if you don't know what Hummels are, I'll insert a picture of one that I find on Google. Nothing against my mom here, but these things mean nothing to me. Now, I know they're valuable to other people, including my mom. I learned this very hard as a 9-year-old when I broke some. But if somebody were to give them to me, other than the fact that I guess I could sell them and get some money, but if I, for whatever reason, couldn't sell them, if somebody just gave them to me, like, I have no use for these things. What am I going to do with them? I don't want them. Again, that's not a knock on my mom or anybody else who likes them. I just don't care. Same when you talk about Star Wars action figures from the 70s or whenever the movies came out, whatever. No value to me whatsoever, other than the fact that I guess I could sell them and buy car parts. What you have to realize is there's that going on in the car market at all times. And when you have older, desirable cars like the Evo, you see this with the Supras a lot. You see this really, I mean, you see it even more with crazier cars, but there's perceived value and actual value. This is partially stemmed from some questions I get around low mileage Evos, and I know I did a video on this a couple days ago. What I want to talk about specifically though to somebody who's looking to buy an Evo is, you know, the person who knows nothing about Evos, who's pretty new to them, especially people who were too young to really be that into cars necessarily. You're gonna look at low mileage, expensive stock-ish Evos and be like, why would anybody buy that for that kind of money? Whereas people my age who were of driving age when these things were new, look at, you know, low mileage Evo 9s and think, oh my gosh, I would totally buy that over a brand new Focus RS or whatever. I mean, to be completely honest, me personally, I'm talking about me. If you gave me the option to buy an Evo 9 with, I don't know, 30, 40,000 miles on it that was completely stock in really good shape, or a brand new Focus RS, and I like the Focus RS, mind you, by all means, I will take the Evo 9, 100% hands down. That is not necessarily a smart financial decision. So that's the perceived value to me, though. Something like a Hummel, no perceived value. Something like a low mileage Evo 9, lots of perceived value. So to those of you who don't have that attachment to the Evos, those of you, like I said, who are too young to care or just didn't care at all, you may not be aware of this wide variety of values, and it can be hard to understand why an 05 Evo with, I don't know, let's say hypothetical here, an 05 Evo MR with 60,000 miles is going for, I don't know, $20,000, and an 06 Evo MR with the same amount of mileage is going for like $5,000 more. That doesn't seem to make sense. But it's that Hummel effect. It's that value that isn't there for the normal person. And that seller is banking on that. And quite frankly, if they're patient enough, they'll probably get that premium. This is where it also becomes really hard when some of you guys message me with these cars, especially Evo 9's, and you want to know if I think it's a good deal. And I struggle with that a lot of times because I have to separate the emotion out of it and recognize that, is it a good deal? Do I think it's a good deal for me, or do I think it's a good deal for you? And that's two very different things. So just keep that in mind. If you're new to the Evo market and you're seeing these wide discrepancies that make no sense to you, just know that there's stuff going on in people's minds that isn't logical to the financial backing of these prices. The other thing to keep in mind is, while I don't hold NADA and Kelley Blue Book and all this stuff to the highest standard, it's at least good for data points. And I find their wholesale values to be somewhat accurate and such at times, especially NADA. I mean, wholesale, if you're not familiar, that's just what it goes for at auction, because that's really like the truest rock bottom price. The problem is, if you know anything about statistics, if you don't have a big enough sample size, it can be really hard to kind of narrow that down. It's really easy. Like, I am way more willing to trust NADA, or even, I don't think I ever trust Kelley Blue Book, but I'm way more willing to trust NADA on a used Toyota Corolla than I am an Evo 8 or 9. I mean, in most of the times when I do these videos of the market updates, there's like, I don't know, 15 Evo 9's for sale in the entire country. So the sample size just isn't big enough, and all it takes is one Evo 9 that is just beat to crap going up on the auction block, just lowering the whole sample size. Or it could go the other way. You get one that just goes for stupid amounts that just throws off the whole price scale. What are you doing, buddy? You're doing good out here, though. Yeah, you're doing so well. Not barking at all, even though I told you you could. So just keep that stuff in mind when you're shopping for an Evo. As always, if you have a question about a specific car or anything and you want to DM me, Instagram's the best way to do that. You can also comment below and get the opinions of the community and so forth. Some housekeeping things. I will be at the shootout in a couple weeks. If you guys are going to be up there, definitely hit me up, let me know, or keep an eye out for me. If you're going to have your Evo up there, I'd like to maybe do a couple videos, especially if you've got like MRs or SEs or final editions, or maybe you've got something unique. And unique could be anything. It could be unique in that it's completely original. It could be unique in that it's completely modified. It could be unique in that you wide-bodied it, whatever. But just something that people would find interesting. So if you've got an Evo, really any Evo. Other than that, appreciate you guys as always. Subscribe for more Evo content and to follow along with my Evo 8 RS build myself. Pups links for Instagram and their YouTube channel below. Other than that, appreciate you guys as always, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, you coming over finally? You gonna say bye? Say bye? Say bye.